I'm over here with Jeffrey at his place. We're going to do some heavy-duty brush cleanup today. We've got the International, we've got the backhoe, and we've got the John Deere 120 over here. We use the John Deere with the grapple to move all the brush that Jeffrey pushes over and cuts with the International. And then we've got a couple trees and some cleanup we wanted to do with the backhoe also. But first I wanted Jeffrey to explain a little bit about how the International is set up with the bulldozer blade that we found in the woods up North Mississippi somewhere. And then on the back of it, we've got a really heavy-duty piece of equipment that's been used all over the farm. It's called the brown tree cutter. And so I'll have Jeffrey talk about this a little bit.
Okay, so the bulldozer blade is just an 8-foot wide front-mounted dozer blade. It's meant to go on the front of a tractor. Oftentimes they're used for silage and other kind of things you'd want to use a blade for, but it's quite sturdy. We've got it mounted up here, and I use it for cleaning out brush. You'll see the brush we're cleaning out today is indicative to how the land is kind of has been around here after the loggers and have been done with it, or it's sat for a number of years. So quite a lot of brush cleanup is needed, and we've cleaned out dozens, if not hundreds of acres using this equipment.
We've got a mixture of small trees and large brush that is almost completely covered by long trailing vines of various sorts.
And the stuff's like usually under 5 inches in diameter, and so that is good candidates to be cleared out with this brown tree cutter. And so it's like a super heavy duty bush hog with an opening at the back. These spring-loaded bars depress in as the brush and trees come up against them, and the blade carrier is different than a regular bush hog. It's essentially a very large flywheel with 4 cutting blades on it, and the blades have a alternating bevel. So this one's bevel up, and if you look at the next one, it's bevel down, and these go around like a series of axe chopping knives that will cut through trees up to 5 to 6 inches in diameter, no problem. And it kind of grinds stuff up, and it's a way to kind of knock the brush down, and then we either push it to a spot in the woods to kind of rot and be rabbit animal habitat for a while as it decays, or larger areas we'll let it like kind of rot down across the field, and the next year will come up as it's kind of rotted down and mulch it up and incorporate it into the soil.
We're going to get started with the backhoe. Jeffrey puts the stabilizer arms out and puts out the hoe, and notice on the outside part of the hoe there it says excavator. That actually extends out. You'll see that in action later. Now he's just digging out around the base of this tree. He just wants to push it over, and then we'll just get it pushed out of the way down to the pit area. We could have cut it off, but then you need to do something with the stump, and it's big enough to cause a problem, and especially since Jeffrey wants to be able to disc this area up and plant some seed here later. We just need to get this pushed out. See, there's that extra arm excavator. It pushes out. That's quite handy, gives us some additional reach that we wouldn't have ordinarily with a regular backhoe. And so we just push that tree over a bit, expose the roots. With the roots partially exposed on one side, then either with the backhoe or the blade on the International, it's easy to just push it up and out of the way. Yeah, there it is, and there where he's done here. Bring the excavator back in, and ready to go on to the next piece of equipment. So he's got the International with the blade. He's gonna push that tree right out, and then he can either push it down to the pile with the International, or I can come around with the 120 with the grapple and pick it up and haul it down. He's making kind of a mess here with all the ground and stuff, but needs to get loosened up, and he'll get it smoothed over. A lot of those roots and brush needs to get cleaned out of there. I'll get some of it with the grapple, rake some of that stuff up and out of there. He's back. He's going to start going after this tall brushy stuff now. A lot of these big heavy, well, that was a pine tree there, but like myrtles and Chinese privets, and they're quite easy to come up, or just push them at the base. The roots sort of snap up, and then you get underneath them and push them up all the way. So it's a way to eliminate the brush completely. If we just mowed it off, it would start coming back up again, and we want to clear this off so we can get some seed planted and have it come up as forage for the sheep. One nice thing about the width of the blade is it extends out from in front of the wheels in front there. He can get in close to those pine trees and get the brush that's growing up next there. He just sort of skims it right off, and some of the oak trees, little oak trees like that, are a little bit more resistant to being pushed over, so he needs to dig down a little bit in front of it, and get underneath the roots a little bit, so he can then tip it up and then push it over. Again, it makes a lot of mess in the dirt, but it all has to get smoothed over eventually anyhow. So that way he's able to get the roots and everything pushed out of there. Don't end up with trying to disc over little stumps. On this oak, he's going to dig out a little bit to the side of it first to get those side roots, and then he'll come back a little bit and dig out right in front of it, so he can push this oak over. Trying to be careful to avoid digging into that pine tree too much. There it goes. Now we can just get at the base of it and push it right out. And then sometimes it's more efficient for him to push piles of brush down to the accumulation pile. Here we're on the edge of the canyon. where he's gathering a lot of the material. He'll push that in, then I'll be adding more stuff with the grapple on top of it. And it's time to get started with the tree cutter. He's spinning it up now. As you can see, this tree cutter has seen some use. It's one of the oldest pieces of equipment we have on the farm. The guard for the PTO, that disappeared, and it's been a very useful tool for us. One of the things that is important when we first bought it, the dealer said to us, make sure you get an open weave grate to put on the back of the cab, or back of the open ropes protection. The tree cutter, it throws stuff in all sorts of directions. So here Jeffrey's burying himself into the brush, and that's what happens. It falls over, it shoots chips in just about every direction. So I've got the telephoto here on. It can look like we're closer than I actually am. Here's Jeffrey backing down into the canyon area to come back up and start getting this brush line with the edge here. And you can see up behind Jeffrey, we've got some of that expanded metal in his rollover protection. You can see the grate for the front of the International, it's got renovated a little bit there. He's got a screen for the radiator, but the original front piece disappeared on him.
Well, Jeffrey continues with the tree cutter and the bulldozer on that brush there, that brush line. The stuff that he's pushed over, that I'm going to carry down to the edge of the canyon there, and use the grapple on the 120 to do that. I'll put the camera on a tripod somewhere and sort of monitor that.
So we'll get going with the grapple here. I've got the video speed up twice the speed. To grapple, you need to be a little slow when you're approaching and making sure you're getting a good grab onto the material. The 120 or the 6120 wouldn't call it a nimble tractor. It's kind of ponderous. And sometimes the most efficient way to drag a mess of stuff like that is just to back it up towards the pile, sort of push it in as close as you can, and then come around on the other side of it and push it all the way in. Another nice thing about the grapple as opposed to the blade is you can get stuff lifted up, and when you're putting it onto the pile, you can start stacking the pile quite a bit higher than you'd ever be able to get to with the blade on the other tractor. and then you can push it over, push it down. So we'll do one more load here, and then we're going to switch back and see what Jeffrey's doing with International. So I'm getting this pretty much all cleared up. It'll still need going over, smoothing out before Jeffrey can bring in the disc, and of course the disc will help smooth it out and level it, and but we're getting the big problem stuff out of the way here.
Jeffrey's going to head over there and work on some brush and clean that area out over there. We've got about another hour of work here that we're going to do, but he's finished here at the edge of the canyon.
At least for what you normally see around here, it's a pretty steep canyon area.
When Katrina came through here, the eye of that storm went right over us, and the people that owned this property at that time, they had a skidder come in, and we had trees down all over the place, and they pulled the trees out from their property here and thinned it out considerably, all fallen trees. They brought them back and threw them off the edge here, and so that's what this is here. We got a big pile of rotted trees. Some of this is lighter wood, and it's just not going to rot down. And so Jeffrey's going to leave this band of brush here and work on it over next year or so as it rots down more. He doesn't want to push it down into the bottomland here, which is often what we do, but a big band of brush like this would just make a mess at the down in the bottom. And what they're going to do is run the sheep down in through here, and that'll help clean this out down in here, and eventually this will turn into a nice green swale with scattered trees and grasslands, and then some bottom area. But he was able to clear on the other side of this brush, and so he's got a way to get behind it. We'll sort of work our way over here. So he can get behind here, and you can see the slope comes down, it levels down into the flat bottomland. But he's got it cleared around over on this side, and there's just too many old logs in this band of brush here to work on with the tree cutter at this point. But I think we made good progress today. Got a lot of the top area cleaned out here now, opened up. And once he gets finished with this brushwork here, he's going to get the disc on the back of the International, and we're going to try to do some planting. It's been dry for the past month, 2 months, and we're almost to the point where the seasons are going to change and we'll start getting rain. So we're about ready to start getting some seed in the ground. Thanks for watching. See you next time.